Right, hello and welcome to the Codec Moments Podcast. I'm Andy Brown at Clinical Andy on Twitter, and joining me, can't even talk. I'm so tired. I've actually started going to the gym again, and I've got a trainer who's making me box.
Oh,
I can barely lift my arms today.
Give us a wave.
You. I'm exhausted. You notice my arms are just on the desk.
Yeah.
Pure
You're not
exhaustion.
speaking like an Italian like you normally do.
I speak with my hands. Do I have to start again? Joining me today, Dr. Matthew Holt.
hello.
Who is at Codec Moments on Twitter, and Ali Cornwolf,
Buongiorno.
who is, I want to say, Corn_Wolf. Yeah, there we go. How you doing, guys?
We're good. Good.
Yeah.
It's been a week since Easter. Still got piles and piles and piles of Easter eggs lying around because when you look at it, you go, I don't want to eat any chocolate. Yeah, I'm not doing too badly. Not too bad at all.
Lots of chocolate, lots of gaming, lots of motorsport on.
Oh yeah, it's as we're recording this, it's Azerbaijan Grand Prix weekend.
Or amateur hour, as it's called at the minute.
Yes, yeah. If you're vaguely interested, go and read what happened in practice one.
So, I read about this on our group hangout earlier. So, just for clarity, a manhole cover got sucked up, I'm guessing, by the aerodynamics of the car, and
Yeah, the aerodynamics is that good.
Yeah.
At Monaco, they actually weld them shut.
I was going to say,
aerodynamics
is this a street circuit?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. That explains why it would be there. Because I thought they fixed them down in places.
Yeah, so one car went over it and dislodged it. The other car didn't see it, went over it, and it just completely annihilated the underneath of his car. And then that's bad enough, but then it went onto the back of the flatbed truck with the arm thingy on it. And he was belting it down the track, went to go under a bridge and didn't realise that his arm was like an elbow up a bit, and ploughed into it and just, I think he fractured the line, and it all the oil weed into the cockpit of the car that was on the back of the truck.
Oh my God, that's just not ideal, is it?
Yeah. And it was a lot as well. Yeah. So I don't know what state the car's in.
Oh, there we go. What a comedy of errors.
It is, and they cancelled free practice, so only 2 cars got any time on the track. Yes, it's going to be an interesting weekend. Quite looking forward to it. It's usually an exciting race anyway.
Yeah, it's a very tight track.
It is, and the most disappointing thing about this is because it's entertaining as a fan to enjoy, but they're probably not going to include it in this year's game. Disappointingly,
How come?
I'd quite like the ability to drive around the rescue vehicle, hitting bridges as you go.
I thought you meant the track.
But yeah, because we have had an announcement today that they're releasing the anniversary and legendary editions this year because it's 10 years that Codemasters have had the license. So that's the anniversary edition. But then the legendary edition is going to include Senna and Prost's cars from their rival year. Was that 90? Oh, God, I want to say 91 or 92. Was it 91? Anyway, whichever year it's from, they're including them and the cars and special liveries and everything else. So it sounds like it's a bit of an interesting addition this year. They're keeping all the old stuff, but chucking in quite a bit new and adding some challenges and races. You're going to drive as either one and face off over 8 particular races, which sounds like it'd be quite good fun.
Yeah. It does sound awesome. Do you remember in Burnout how when you played the crash mode, you had to earn a certain dollar value?
Yeah.
Well, that'd be like the easiest level in the world on a Formula One track, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
First corner. Bang. $3 million.
All right, so what have we been playing then? Who wants to go first?
Well, it's a bit of a fight because we've all been playing the same thing. Really?
Ali, not so sure.
Well, I've played a few. I'll go first.
Oh,
so,
right, go on.
Set the precedent.
We have all been playing one game, which we'll talk about afterwards, so I won't talk about that now. But I've gone back on Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Oh, yeah.
I want to try and plough into that a little bit more. I did my usual thing where I think there was a lot of games out when that first came out, and I did my usual thing of I'm putting a lot of time into this. I need to back off a little bit because I don't want to not spoil the game, but kind of finish it and then go, I've done that already. So yeah, went back into that. I'm only like level 18, I think. And I forgot how massive that game is. So been playing that quite a bit and doing up my Spartan Assassin's Creed kind of guy.
Yeah.
Really enjoying it. It's beautiful to look at. They've added quite a lot of stuff. And I think they've just added some more DLC to it this week. I think it was. I can't remember what it's called, but the advert kept popping up until I downloaded it because I've got the season pass for it. So I just downloaded it to get it out of the way with.
I'd seen something about it, and because they've been making quite a big fuss since that first one that ruined something. I'm not going to get into details because I have got the game sat
it was
there.
a gender thing, wasn't it? I think they tried to do something. And
I'm not entirely sure, but each time a chapter of the DLC gets released, they seem to be saying good things about it. Say, oh yeah, they've corrected mistakes, blah blah blah. But I haven't read the details because I'm saving myself until I eventually get around to it.
I think it was The Fate of Atlantis was the DLC.
Oh yeah.
So I've been playing that, and then I've also picked up on the PC Anno 1800.
Oh right.
Okay.
I love me a little worldy buildy kind of thing.
Oh, you see, I'm a massive fan of the Civ series. I don't really talk about it, but yeah.
So yeah, I really like them and looked at a few videos, and a lot of people have said they've gone back to the roots with it and different things. So it is set in the 1800s. You're having like farmers' fields to build and stuff, rather than the other ones that have been a bit more futuristic.
Yeah.
I think I'm over halfway through the campaign already, and I only picked it up on Tuesday, I want to say.
That's saying a lot then.
Whoops. But really good. Really, really enjoying it. It's the detail in the game is crazy. There's so much to do in it. I've played 8 hours, as it's just popped up on my screen, so I can have a quick look on Uplay. If you're into those type of games, it's really, really good. There's a bit of a story to it. Your father's died, and you kind of rebuilding his legacy, because I think you've either got a bad brother or something like that. To be honest with you, I've not taken that much notice of it because I just want to build the base and things. But you also do a bit of skirmishing where you've got to go and find the new world and whatnot. But it's very interesting. It's very much unlike some of the games like this today, where you don't have to have things next to each other. You just have to have like a storage unit within a certain distance. Whereas with this, the more efficiently you can build your base, the better it's going to run and the more money you're generating.
Okay.
You can't have because you start to mine for coal, and then you've got to make glass and stuff and iron bars, and you have to make loads of different things. But obviously they generate pollution, so you can't have that too close to your city, because then your villagers get a bit disgruntled with the pollution and whatnot.
Yeah.
But
I was a big SimCity fan.
Yeah.
For a long while, and there's a lot of satisfaction, isn't there, in building those little communities.
Yeah, I mean, I've played a lot of Tropico 5. I've been trying to finish that. But also the Jurassic Park one as well. And they're just... It's hard to explain. You're either into those kind of games or you're not. But you can sink so many hours into it.
Yeah.
And tweaking it and then go, no, that doesn't work. I've got to delete that and put it back. It just doesn't look pretty.
Knock it all down and rezone it.
Yeah. I bought Surviving Mars when it was in the sale at Christmas. And just that time sink, 4 hours alone on the tutorials. Just getting through those and learning the basics. And it doesn't feel like it. You feel like you're just scratching the surface at that point.
Yeah. So I've still been playing a bit of Division as well, but the last couple of nights I've been sat playing that and just enjoying the music as well. It's got a lovely soundtrack to it.
Nice.
Yeah. What about yourselves?
I've had Titanfall 2 sat on my hard disk for a couple of weeks because I picked it up in a sale for like £4. And with the news of Fallen Order coming from Respawn, I thought, I might as well boot it up and have a go. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah. It's really, really good.
Really cracking first-person shooter. It's just lovely. Really nice. Yeah.
What have you got that on? Your PS4?
PS4, yeah. I mean, I can't argue with it for £4. It's probably the most value for any game I've ever had.
The story mode, from what I remember, is quite short, but it's really good.
It's not as short as their old Modern Warfare type campaigns, but it's not the lengthiest in the world.
I've been playing for about 2 or 3 hours, and it feels like I'm about halfway in. I don't know, but it's just nice. It feels like a good shooter. The weapons feel weighty. Each one feels significantly different and unique. Sound design is good. Love the stuff with the Titans.
Yeah.
The wall running, the movement. Yeah, just really good, really nice little game. I can't believe I've not played it before today, if I'm honest.
If I remember rightly, when it first came out, was it one of those stupid things where EA just swamped loads of games out, and although this was highly reviewed by reviewers and whatnot, from what I remember, I can't remember what else came out at the same time. There was a few other games that swamped it.
Was it? I think it's Battle. No, I want to say I was going to say Battlefront, but actually, was it Battlefield 1? It came out like a week before, or 2 weeks before, or 2 weeks after, something like that. It was really close.
It came out at the end of October in 2016, so I think it was Battlefield 1.
Yeah, it was, and it came out on the time of Call of Duty. What was it at the time? Was that Black Ops 3 at that point?
No, I think it might have been Infinite Warfare.
Yes, it will have been, won't it? It'll have been because Infinite Warfare was after that. Yeah, so it kind of just got swallowed up. It did. It really got swallowed up. Despite the hype, it was big at EGX that year.
Yeah,
we saw a lot of it being played, and it just didn't do what it was expected, and I think it just got lost.
I wonder if it was two fingers from either Respawn or EA as well, because if you think Zampella used to be Infinity Ward, didn't he?
Yeah.
It may not have been as well received at the time. I'm really enjoying it, and it's just a nice change from a lot of the other stuff I've been playing recently. So,
I think it was well received. It was just the fact that people didn't give it at the time because, like you say, Battlefield 1 came out, and there's a few other big releases around that time as well. And I think it's just the fact that they released it within, I think it was a week of Battlefield 1, and it's like, well, why don't you give it a bit more space? But yeah, no, it's a lovely little looter shooter.
It's not a looter shooter, though.
Well, I know it's not as much looting in it, but I just
not a great deal.
Oh, that's so 2016 not being a looter shooter.
I know, right? Or having a battle royale mode.
Yeah, I know, right? Although it has kind of spawned one, hasn't it?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So what about you, Doctor?
I started off the week with a bit of Zankie Zero last beginning, which is a survival JRPG, which I was reviewing. So it's reviews up on the site, and arguably has the most up story I have ever come across in a game. It is just unbelievable, but so weird, but actually surprisingly charming as well. Real stereotypical characters that you either like, hate, or just want them to die. It's really odd. It's really odd. It's actually quite hard to describe how strange it is, and a little bit, in fairness, gotta say, a little bit uncomfortable. It's had a number of tweaks before being ported to the West to remove not necessarily implied child sexuality, but it's to further remove it, just to get past the censors and to get past. I think Sony had something to say about what they wanted to release, and it's not in the game, but there's a bit of an undercurrent, and it's really difficult. It can be quite disturbing at times.
Oh, okay.
And that's not to do with what the activity that's going on. It is the premise is that you're surviving on an island. There's 8 of you, and you're all clones, and you have a lifespan of 13 days. And if you die, you can be brought back. You can be recloned, but you come back as a child. So you're in effect got a child with an adult mind doing adult things. That's right. It's a bit near the knuckle in places. It's very weird, but strangely really entertaining. I'll probably make it sound a lot darker and worse than it really is, because it isn't.
It sounds very dark.
It wouldn't have got past the censors otherwise.
I'll be honest, mate. You're making it sound a little bit Black Mirror.
Yeah.
You know what?
Only Jimmy Savile would play.
No. You're definitely going down the wrong route. Definitely more Charlie Brooker.
What? that Black Mirror episode entitled "U Tree."
So yeah, I've been playing that. That is just damn weird. What else have I played? I started playing Mortal Kombat 11.
Yep.
Any good?
Oh, yeah. It's just so good.
Have you brought your joypad yet?
I am terrible at it. I have completely forgotten how to play a Mortal Kombat game, because it's not like other fighters. But it is stunning. It really is. It's slick. It's gruesome. It's fully featured. It's got shed loads of options. It's accessible. They've nailed it. They really have. And I'm only partway through the story mode at the moment. It's really nice. Really, really nice. Any Mortal Kombat fighting game fan, definite recommend. And I haven't even got to the end of the story yet. Or taking it online. I'm dreading that part.
I was listening to the beat 'em up episode that you did, which was really good. My biggest thing with beat 'em up games, I love them. But I'm just shocking on them. I can't do half the combos and all sorts of stuff. And you're like, down back what?
I think this is where Mortal Kombat 11 comes into its own. There are that many tweakable options. You can adjust the input timing for recognition of the combo presses that you're putting in.
Oh, okay.
So it's down to that kind of level, so you can really personalize it. You can swap in and out moves on certain controls. It is unbelievable the depth it goes into to make it playable for everybody. And nice. I think that's commendable, but also makes a really exciting game because you don't feel like you're hitting that wall that sometimes you can get in fighting games where you hit one character, you just cannot beat them. This you feels like you've got options to go away and do it. So, but I need to play more. But it is good.
I think you need to do some streams, Matt, so we can watch you get beat.
Yeah. When I go online, I'll do that. Yeah. You can watch me getting beaten to a bloody pulp.
Yeah.
And aside from the one we're going to get to, I've also started playing Days Gone.
Oh, so how's that?
Controversial.
I like it. I found it a little bit odd to begin with, I won't lie. The motorbike riding right at the beginning seemed a little bit loose. The movement is very solid. It's got its heft and weight, so it's not quite as fluid as a third-person cover shooter that you might expect if you've played Last of Us and are expecting that style of movement. It's not that. But actually, the story is drawing me in. The character development and the world is lovelily realised. It is really nice. The shout out at the moment is the audio design. It's because it's got a full 7.1 option, and there's a lot in the area I'm in at the moment. There's a lot of rain. There's a lot of freaker activity in isolated groups all around you, and you are getting it from all the right angles, and it's really quite immersive. And I am. I've switched it on. I thought I'm probably going to end up disappointed, and I might be by the end still. I'm not going to say that it's going to be perfect all the way through, but so far, solid game. Is it groundbreaking? Not yet, and it might never be. But is it enjoyable? Definitely.
Yeah, because it's getting a bit of bad press. I've not picked it up myself. Mainly, I normally will make up my own mind, but there's been a lot of bad stuff at the minute. So it's nice that you're actually giving it a positive spin, because everything else, you're the first person that I've either heard talking about it or that I've read that's actually given it in such a. There's not really many negatives as such, apart from slightly loose controls.
It took a bit of getting used to on that part, and like I say, it's not the movement I'm used to, but I'll give a game the benefit of the doubt. There's usually a reason for those mechanics. Usually, it did remind me a little bit, tiny bit of Siphon Filter in terms of the movement initially, mainly because, and I had forgotten this until recently, that Bend Studio actually made that game. They made 3 or 4 of them. And it got me thinking it was a little bit like that, but it's not the same type of game at all. But there's lovely little touches with it. Yes, it's got the Horizon Zero Dawn stealth thing where you hide in bushes. You know, you could think, well, maybe they copied that. It's got a sound meter, so you have always visibly, you can tell how much noise you're making because they're attracted by noise. So you've really got to be careful, and you find yourself starting to play in that world. Because what would you do in this sparse landscape where you're being hunted by humans or are going to get savaged by zombies if you make too much noise? And you find yourself paying attention to it and really thinking about it. I've yet to get into the bike mechanics of fueling it and upgrading it and, you know, not being too far from it. But so far, like I say, I haven't come across anything I've really disliked or has made me gone, yeah, this is terrible. And I'm so far quite liking Deacon as a character. It still makes me think it's Daryl the game. It is. But it's nice. It is nice. I'll let you know more as I get through it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd seen a couple of reviews, and I think the gist I was getting from it was it seemed like the plot was good, the story was reasonably good, went along at a reasonable pace when you got into it, but it just seems to be a little bit buggy. Have you seen any of that? Or
Not yet. But 2 hours in, relatively limited areas I've been around, I haven't spotted anything yet. I've not come across a big swarm. I've come across quite a few to deal with, but not a big swarm of freakers. So I suspect that's where it might get really janky if it's going to.
Yeah.
I've got a soft spot for Bend because that Golden Abyss was a cracking game.
Oh yeah.
Resistance Retribution, not so much. I think.
No. Resistance Retribution was actually really
no,
good.
wait, yeah, no,
that was the PSP one.
It was the Vita one that was garbage, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, you're thinking Burning Skies.
No, you're right. I am sorry. I take it back. Sorry, Bend.
Retribution was a really good game, and it also, if you bought the cables, it outputted so you could play it on your TV.
Oh,
as well at full resolution, which worked really well. Yeah. No, I so far, I'm enjoying Days Gone, and yeah, want to play more. It's sat in rest mode at the moment. It's ready for me to go back to. However, I have a feeling it's going to get turned off so that we can play the next one.
I mean, I just the point I was thinking about, because I'll be honest, it's had a slightly I won't say troubled development, but it has been pushed back a bit, hasn't it?
Yeah,
and I think I don't think the enthusiasm perhaps is there for it at the moment. I don't know. That sound reasonable? That sound fair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think part of it is just look at the stable it comes from. With the Sony exclusives that include God of War. You mentioned Horizon Zero Dawn, The Last of Us. I think Spider-Man. It just feels like it's perhaps been dealt a slightly harsh hand by the fact it has been a bit delayed, and people just perhaps aren't really chomping at the bit for it.
I think maybe rightly a lot of people are thinking that's just another zombie game. It's oversaturated. We've had loads of them. They've done them in all different ways. What's different about this? And yeah, we'll find out. We'll find as we go through it. If it ends up just being a good story tale, I'll be happy.
All right. So speaking about just another zombie game
and swarms,
and no story.
No story. Well, it has got story. It's just
sort of
really, really, really paper thin. We've been playing World War Z.
Yes.
We're British. We're not going to apologise for the fact that we're going to call it World War Z. That's just a linguistic thing that's happening.
And yeah, it's a co-op level-based shooter.
It's Left 4 Dead that's been reskinned.
Pretty much,
essentially.
Yeah.
It's got a few things that are different about it. The zombie swarms are impressive. When you're
even on easy,
yeah. When you kind of absolutely see them running in from the distance over buildings, and just it looks like a tsunami of people just running towards you at times, which is pretty awesome. And then they start to clamber over each other to climb up to where you happen to be.
yeah, and creating pyramids, as they call it, where they're climbing up. Because you've not watched the film, have you, Andy? Whereas Matt has, and I have, and Matt's read the books and he's a fanboy.
Well, Matt liked it before anybody else did.
Yeah, it was cool before. It was cool, but yeah.
Let's get one thing straight: the film is not the book. Not in this one. Not in this case. That was its entire problem.
Brad Pitt's not in the book. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but none of the other stuff that's in the film is in the book.
You sound like me when I was 15 talking about Alan Dean Foster's Alien.
You can't start. The reason I read his books is I'm sure you bought me the Zombie Survival Guide.
Actually, that's true. I did.
It is your fault.
Yeah, all right, yeah. But yeah, World War Z is actually quite a lot of fun in co-op.
It is.
Yeah.
The only issue I've got, and I think we've all got the same issue, is the fact that you can't have a private online game. If it has to be 4 people, just chuck a dumb AI in, rather than, like we say, the guy that wants to run along and just pick up everything before you and die a lot. And
it's that usual thing of, and I think this is where it harks back to the fact that he is clearly inspired by a game from a previous generation, in that there's no subtlety to the weapon selection or choice. So you've got loads of different weapons. There's a lot of different things, and the leveling up mechanic is pretty cool. The progression is pretty cool, but essentially you open a box and a weapon appears, and the first person to grab it gets it.
Yeah.
And whilst there's not any shortage of weapons, it can be a bit irritating if you have that guy in your group who's not a team player and, like you said, either runs off ahead, opens all the boxes, takes what they want, leaves the crap behind. Or the thing that really annoyed me is when you've got like, you can find these breaching charges.
Yeah.
So you can open up secret rooms, which are stock full of ammo and, a nice case with a decent gun or a heavy weapon or something special in it. And you always know that guy because you lay the breaching charge and they're the one that stands right by the door. You think, they're going to go in and loot that and just be a knob, basically, aren't they?
Yeah. Getting in front.
And like I say, it's not a petty thing, but the thing for us is we like to check the corners and we would get the breaching charges and we'd make sure between the three of us that we're geared up. Does anybody need this? Does anybody need that? And it's like a supermarket sweep.
When you say check your corners, you mean make sure Ali hasn't moved in front of you.
Yeah, well, I'm in front of you if you want to. Yeah,
it's that first level that you do if you do in New York, where even on the screen it tells you used silent weapons. And you all start with silenced weapons, and some idiot picks up a shotgun, fires a blast, and suddenly you're dealing with more than you ever want to deal with in the first 2 minutes.
Although I will put this out here as a public service announcement because I was that idiot at one point when we're walking through that section. Everyone's using silent weapons, and it's going very nicely. And I pick up a crossbow. Now. There is basically no tutorial in this, and there's certainly nothing at any point that tells you that the crossbow won't be a nice silent kill. No, they're explosive bolts. So, what I thought was going to be a nice subtle. No, it was a boom,
bang.
Yeah. So, oh dear, that started a little swarm.
So it works. It works well for there's a little bit of exploration, not a lot. It's guided quite nicely through the levels, but it just filters you to the next swarm set piece. And the first few of those are really impressive. Really impressive. And you do go, oh, when you see them coming at you.
Yeah, when they're climbing over fences and each other. And
I think the first one that you really get is in that you're in the atrium of that glass building, aren't you? And they just come swarming in through the front doors and then piling up in the atrium trying to get to you. But it's also that thing of none of the areas. If you go looking to certain areas, you can find choke points or you can find natural points where you can set up and have them come towards you and turn it into a bit of a kill zone. But actually, a lot of the areas where they set up these big battles and these massive swarms, you are vulnerable on all sides.
Yeah,
and they'll come up in different places and they'll start to appear from behind you as well. So they're a bit tricky.
They are. It keeps it don't keep you on edge, but it makes you constantly aware of what's around you, and you have to check each other's backs, particularly with the certain enemy types that if you get hit with, you can't shake them off. You need co-op support to get you.
Oh yeah. So there's like a few enemy types like the bull and what do they call it? A creeper.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? They're the ones they leap on you, and you can't fight them off. You are stuck.
Yeah, so you just pin there until someone else comes and deals with it.
There is, so there are quite a few different classes as well. And I think, if I remember rightly, either one of the classes you get it or you can pay to unlock it where you can actually fight them off.
Okay.
But there's only certain... So there's about, I want to say 8 classes, something like that. And then there's like a little skill tree within that where you can customize it because each little level, when you get to that threshold, there's... I don't know, up to 5, I think, on some of them where you get to pick it, but you only have to pick one from it. So there's a lot of customization within that little game, if you like. So is there 5 different episodes or 4?
There's 4 countries. So you've got New York, Israel, Moscow, and Tokyo.
Yeah.
Tokyo is the one we haven't. Well, I haven't done it yet. I don't know if you guys have.
No.
So the last one we did was Moscow, and that was just getting tough. The first year, and yes. Full disclosure, we're playing it on the easiest possible mode.
And I want to say again, is there about 5 difficulty levels or more?
I think there's 5. There's 5 difficulty levels, and we're on number 1.
Yeah.
yeah.
One red skull icon.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you've got, 3 sections to each country. And yeah, we've yet to do the Japan one, but the Moscow one was starting to get quite challenging with the sort of the final, the last level we had to go at, the final area where we were fighting them off was just mental. It was that all sides, all types, hundreds of them.
Admittedly, though, it would have been less challenging had we not wasted all of our mortar rounds just going, oh, look, there's a mortar. I wonder where that lands if we fire it.
Oh, it goes by that fence.
Oh, great. Oh, hold on. Only a handful of limited rounds in it? Ah. By the time the swarm came, we had no ammo left.
Yeah, rookie errors.
So there you go, another public service announcement. Don't waste your mortar rounds.
No, I've found it very satisfying to play, actually. It's not the deepest game. Yes, there's the customization and the leveling up and the class variation. It feels like it's probably going to hit a point where it ends up being a bit of a grind to do anything.
It's also slightly grindy in the sense that you don't earn your XP as you go. You have to get to the end of the level.
Yes.
And it's not... I think we've all been kicked at one point or another, by some kind of connection error or something else. So,
well, we had that really weird one where we were all 3 of us were playing, and we had random person with us he was annoying us all anyway. But you 2 just completely disappeared, and I was in the game with 3 other randos. The same random person that we had and 2 others, but it was instantaneous. It wasn't like something funny happened and everybody disappeared. It was straight away.
Yeah, so, and if you get disconnected, you'd lose all your progress for that round.
Yeah.
And that's, again, harking back to kind of the last generation. It would have been nice if you at least earned partial credit.
Yeah. I would say it's one of those things, if you're not actively quitting, if something happens, then you feel hard done to, and you feel like, well, hang on, I've just spent 20 minutes getting through this. I'd like to have earned something for my effort. And it's, the matchmaking or whatever that's glitched somewhere or kicked or done something you don't like.
Yeah.
But the actual gameplay is pretty smooth, and it's quite fun.
And it looks really good as well.
It does, actually. Yeah, it looks nicer than I expected. It's smoother than I expected. And I do get a kick out of shooting hundreds of zombies.
I'll be honest, there is something massively satisfying about when they start a pylon, just opening up at the bottom rung of that ladder and seeing them all tumble down.
Yeah, because the physics is good as well. Yeah.
Oh, so you lob a grenade into the bottom of the pile, watch it explode them away, and then them all collapse.
I'd love to see what how the swarms evolve, if you like, playing it on a harder difficulty. if we just went, right, come on, let's just have a laugh, put it on max, and just see if that is a massive holy shit moment. Fire everything.
I think that's what we need to do next then, isn't it?
Yeah. That's when we find out it just equips you with a combat knife and a can of mace.
So yeah, what was it? It's good. It is good. Is it £35 good?
In 7 days, it sold 1 million copies.
I mean, I paid £35 for it, and I'm not massively regretting it. But then I loved Left 4 Dead, and I think that's it. If you enjoyed Left 4 Dead and you want something that's slightly more gritty and on current generation, then I'd recommend it.
Yeah, it's good fun.
And especially if you've got friends to play with, you don't necessarily have to play with friends, and you can do it offline.
Oh, has anyone played it offline?
I had a little go, but it was really hard, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
I played it the other day, and what I found was actually, because the 4 of you naturally group together, it's actually quite easy to kind of find a dead end and hunker down and let them come to you, and then just pick them off. Yeah, that's a really good tactic, but I can't see it working as well with a group of McRandoms.
No, it does feel like the game where you need a little bit of coordination. And don't get me wrong, we've done 3 or 4 sessions where we've jumped in together, 2 of us or 3 of us, and we've probably had a 50-50 success rate with who's joined us. So we've had 1 or 2 really good, and we ended up playing more games with them because it worked really well. And then we have had a couple of shocking people who just were not grasping the concept of the game more than anything else. It is co-op, it is teamwork.
Yeah, massively. And you need that coordination, and I can imagine it being even more beneficial that you have got a party of 4, or at least you outweigh the randos So if it was the three of us and a rando, we can just say ignore him because he's going to die if you're on maximum difficulty. We'll cover these bits. Shout up if you need any help, which is unless you're on the mic with them and they've got music playing and the mum telling them tea's ready and all that kind of rubbish.
Hence the private party chat.
Yes. Yeah.
What's for tea?
Oh, I've had all sorts of stuff like that. Yeah.
No, it's good. It's worth a blast. And I think we already have agreed we're probably going to go and play it after we've recorded this as well.
Yes, let's crack on. So have you got a quiz for us?
I have.
Yay.
I have. So, because we're talking the undead, and what do the undead like more than anything else?
Brains.
Swedish flat pack furniture.
You have been spending too much time with me.
So, I've got my quiz is zombie or zombie,
What?
which is Swedish for zombie. I've got a list of names in front of me. And I want to know, when I give you a name, whether the name is a voice actor that played a zombie in the Dead Rising series, or something you can buy at IKEA.
Yep, definitely an Andy style quiz.
Oh, mate, you've become me. You finally see the world through my lens.
I actually, the exact concept hasn't been stolen, but the initial idea came from Stuart Neal, who sent me a quiz over DM, which was Game of Thrones character or Masters golfer, to see how well we knew the difference between them. And I thought that's really good, but Andy doesn't know Game of Thrones, does he? So,
Oh man, can you forward that to me?
yeah, I'll send it on to you.
I might do right in the golfers though.
You might have been fine on the golfers, but yeah, and that's also what our Game of Thrones quota for the SEO was. Well done, excellent. Let's get on with the quiz. So I've got about 30 of them here. Whether we want to do that many or not, we'll see how quickly we go, and whether you two get really bored. Well, I'll actually, which one of you would like to go first? I'll give you a choice.
Go on then.
Okay, so first name, and I want to know: is it a voice actor who played a zombie in the Dead Rising series? Or is it a piece of IKEA furniture? Sabo.
IKEA.
No, that's Jeremy Sabo, who played a zombie in Dead Rising 3.
I'm absolutely sure that I've got I've got a Sabo bookshelf somewhere, right?
Ali. Kalmbach.
IKEA.
No, that's Andrew Kalmbach,
Oh.
who was in Dead Rising 2. Right, okay. Third one. Andy. Hulto.
What, sorry?
Hulto.
Hulto. Can you use it in a sentence?
No,
Like,
that's not going to happen.
that's a nice
Please put my Hulto
that's
down.
a nice Hulto in the corner. I'll just put my keys on it.
Or hello, Mr. Hulto.
Hulto. I'm just to keep things fresh, I'm going to go voice actor and be wrong.
Yes, you're wrong. It's a piece of furniture from IKEA, and it's named after an island off the Småland coast.
Lovely.
What is it?
it?
Matt?
Yeah.
Just in case people want to buy it.
I didn't bother looking that up.
Oh, Matt.
Oh, come on, that's basics. What's a Hulto?
Yeah.
I need to know
I don't
We
care.
could be telling people to get it in the front room, and it could be like a bog brush.
It's your homework for afterwards. Ali. Kupsko.
Voice actor.
Correct.
Yes.
That's Jodie
Yeah.
Kupsko, who was in Dead Rising 2.
Of course it was.
Of course
yeah.
it is, yeah.
Okay, Andy.
Yep.
Peras.
IKEA.
It's a voice actor. That's Franz
Oh.
Peras in Dead Rising 3.
Oh, I'm doing really badly at this terrible quiz.
It's still not Mills and Boon.
The train one was the best one.
Touche.
Ali. Grunker.
IKEA.
Correct. It's
Yes,
actually
I go to
Swedish.
sleep on a grunker.
I think I said, no, that's Charlotte
No, I
Grunker.
don't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, no, that's actually Swedish for thingy.
Thingy?
Thingy.
It's actually a Grunker is a 4-piece utensil set.
Thingy.
You can put the IKEA website away.
I'm only doing it afterwards. You can see me. I'm not cheating, but I need to know.
Okay. So, Andy, Cyril.
Cyril. Oh, come on. There's got to be a voice actor called Cyril something.
Are you going voice actor?
But clearly,
It's a
gonna be-
surname, remember? It's a surname.
Oh, why not? I hope his name's Cyril. Like,
No, it's IKEA. It's actually a Greek boy's name.
what? You know that, but you don't know what. what product it is.
I don't know what product it is. No. Right, Ali, you're absolutely killing it at the moment. So,
Yeah, with my 1 point.
2 points.
No,
You got
2 points.
2 points.
2 points.
Okay.
Dupois.
Kura.
Voice actor.
Correct. That's Gabriel Kura, who was in the original Dead Rising.
Oh, and he's running away with it now.
Andy. Stave.
What's that?
Stave.
Stave. I'm going to go, I don't know, it's probably a toilet brush from IKEA or something like that.
Well, it is from IKEA. Correct. It's named after a place in Norway.
Well, there you go.
Okay, Ali, over to you. And Karg.
Voice actor.
Correct. That's Courtney
Yeah.
Karg from Dead Rising 4. And I am going to skip a shed load and just go to the last two. Because otherwise we will be here forever. We do have a lot. Andy,
Yep.
for you, it is the name Cullen.
Cullen. Oh, it's got to be
It's got to be a bog brush.
It's got to be an angry Scottish IKEA product.
It is.
yeah. Why is it?
Cullen is actually named after the site of a famous lighthouse in Sweden
Is it with a K or a C?
with a K.
Yeah.
What product is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a chest of drawers.
The chest of drawers. There we
An
go.
angry-looking chest of drawers. Yeah.
It's about as entertaining as a chest of drawers.
Okay, so I mean, this one isn't even to win, Ali, because I think you have actually won. I think you're already 3 for 2.
Four for 2.
Is it 4-2? Right. Well, can you make it 5-2? And nearly a clean sweep. Jabber.
Jabba.
IKEA.
Correct.
Boom.
It's actually Swedish for jab, as in a boxing jab.
Oh.
So there you go. I hope that's been vaguely informative. You learned a little bit of Swedish and care less about IKEA products than you did beforehand.
Well, there you go. 5 points to Ali, 2 points to me, proving that what I thought was going to be my indefatigable knowledge on IKEA has failed me.
You know, if I'd had to put a bet on beforehand, I'd given you that quiz. I'm quite disappointed.
If you'd have just used like IKEA UK products, I'd have probably been all right. But
Most of them were
you had to
IKEA UK products.
well, not when I was cheating. I mean, looking.
So there we go.
That's good. That's a good quiz.
Zombie voice actors or IKEA products. A quiz you never thought you'd hear, but this is Codec Moments. So what do you expect?
Yeah.
You could have called it Flat Pack or Flatlined.
Oh.
Yeah, it's actually a better title, but you're too late with it now. Right. What else have we got then?
We've got the Heaven's Vault interview that we did over at EGX. So it's not old as such, but it's from a while ago. But the game is actually released. Is it this week?
It was released last week. So
Last week.
at the point of recording, the game's about 10 days old, and it's getting some really good reviews. And it was something we were really interested in. And you spent quite a bit of time talking to that lovely man.
I did, yeah, and I had quite a bit of time with the game, which was lovely. It was not a typical game that I would normally go for, but the art style and the way it plays is really good. So you're going to hear that interview now.
So we're here with Joe from Ingram Games, just talking about Heaven's Vault. So if you could just tell us a little bit about the game and the inspiration for it.
Sure. So Heaven's Vault is an archaeological narrative adventure. So it's starring an archaeologist called Aliyah Alazra and her robot sidekick called Six. So it's a sci-fi game in which you explore various different moons, and as an archaeologist, her main job is that she explores these ruins and she finds various different inscriptions in an ancient language.
Yep.
And so our core mechanic is that you go in and you solve these as puzzles. You find various inscriptions, and we've created an entire ancient language purely for this game for you to decipher. And it's kind of a real working actual language. So, but we don't. That sounds quite harsh because learning a language is really difficult. But we like to think of it as like the Guitar Hero of linguistics. So we don't make it too difficult.
Yeah.
But it's a real language nonetheless.
Okay, yeah. So when I was playing the game, obviously, like the languages came up, so you find the inscriptions and rub it down.
Yeah.
So is there, as you progress through the game, is there a right and wrong way, or is it each individual players? Is the language unique to that player?
Yeah. So The language is consistent in that, like, everyone who plays the game will get the same language.
Right.
But as you explore the world, you might find totally different inscriptions.
Right.
And then, depending on how you translate it, different people might translate it rightly or wrongly.
Right.
But either way, whatever answer you give, that will feed back into the game's narrative. So
Right.
you might arrive at a site and you might think, oh, this looks like a secret garden, but someone else might think, oh, I think it looks like a graveyard.
Right,
And
okay.
whatever you choose, she will then feed that into the narrative and she will talk about it based on what you chose.
Right, okay, so that does make everyone's gameplay completely unique and different.
Yeah.
Lovely. I noticed, correct me if I'm wrong here, but the robot that's with you is very much a little bit like Johnny Five.
Oh, yeah.
Was that the inspiration for that?
Short Circuit's like a strong influence for us. We kind of have a lot of nostalgia for that. Yeah.
Because obviously, loading up the game, I didn't realise until you kind of get into it and the robot appears that it is very sci-fi. So is it set in the future?
So, I mean, it is sci-fi. Whether it's set in the future or not, like, that's kind of a part of the game's kind of lore that we don't really tell you very much about. In fact, in some ways, we like to think of it less of a sci-fi game and more like, we like to think of it more like a fantasy game that happens to have sci-fi elements. And in some ways, that shares a bit in common with Star Wars, because although Star Wars is clearly sci-fi, it also has this kind of mythological, slightly like fantasy element to it, and we really like that tone.
So when I was playing the game, it's unbelievably engaging. So it kind of reminded me a little bit of Tomb Raider, but kind of pretty much strip out all the combat, whether there is any in it. And it's just so much fun just walking around like the garden that I was doing, trying to decipher what it is, trying to find different ways in.
Yeah, my co-founder likes to describe it as a chatty Uncharted. Because it's got that kind of third-person exploration. But like, it's not about shooting; it's about kind of relaxing, puzzle solving, and like learning about the dramatic plot in the game's narrative and all that kind of stuff.
So in the game as well, there are bits where you can kind of knock down a door if you want to, or leave it, or try and find a key. So does that alter the gameplay as well? Is a possibility where you could say knock down a door or something, but then that could crumble somewhere else, so you might not see something? Does that impact the game?
So, like, as a company, we're quite known for making highly branching narratives. So previously we made a game called 80 Days, in which you can explore around the world in any way you like and visit up to almost 170 cities. But on a single playthrough, you might only see 10 or 20. But in this game, it's a bit different, and it's still very branchy, but it's a much more subtle, branching in a subtle way. So most people will see roughly the same content, more like 80% the same content, but that content they might experience in totally different ways. So they might approach the same level in totally different ways and find totally different ways into the dig sites, or they might talk to the characters in totally different ways. And the game kind of dynamically adapts the narrative to fit whatever your play style is.
So I think you mentioned earlier this is the first game that you've put onto a console.
Yes.
What are the challenges been with, making your first game onto a console? Because I imagine it's a bit of a step up.
The challenges have been numerous. So me and my co-founder come from a console development background. But nonetheless, like all our previous indie games have been kind of initially mobile games. And the longest we ever spent making a game was about a year. So on 80 Days, we spent about a year. This game, we spent 3 years on it so far, and it's our first kind of fully 3D game, although the characters are kind of hand-drawn 2D. So it's got a bit of a unique art style. But like from a technical point of view, and I'm kind of like the technical lead, it's really difficult. It's also our first completely brand new IP, and that is extremely challenging as well. Like, I think one of our strengths is that we have a bit of naivety about how difficult it is to do something. So we've gone all in and gone ambitious with like a console game, new IP, new art style, new game mechanics. I was like, okay, this is quite hard actually. We're quite excited.
Was it the decision with yourselves just to put it on the PlayStation, or are you looking at possibly moving into like the Switch and things like that eventually?
We'll see where we go. We've got 6 months of exclusivity on PlayStation. That's our core focus right now. And we're going to do a simultaneous release on Steam as well.
Okay, lovely. Have you got a rough release date for the game yet?
We're aiming at early next year, so early 2019.
Lovely. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very
All
much.
right,
Cheers.
Well, that was interesting stuff. That's good to hear.
Okay, so don't forget, if you want to hear more of our episodes, any of our back catalogue, you can go to codecmoments.com and check those out. And you can also see some of these games that Matt's been reviewing, like, I don't know, what was that one you were playing today? Zantie's Revenge?
Zankie Zero, Last Beginning.
Zankie Zero, that was it. Yeah, and God's Trigger, which you did last week, that was good.
I enjoyed that. God's Trigger was a great little game. It's like 12 quid as well. Just go and buy that one. That was really good.
So all of this is available at codecmoments.com. If you want to tweet us, you can do that to Matthew. You can tweet at Codec Moments, or you can tweet me and Ali as well. And we'll be back next week.
We will. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast through Podbean and enjoy yourselves. We'll speak to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.